you have an empathy that is coming across, which is probably why people respond to you. I mean, in the Grace Millane case, you forged incredibly close links with their family too, which have, as I understand it, have endured. I mean, the father sadly passed away at just 62, possibly a stress-related cancer to that case. But you've kept that relationship with the family, right?
Yes, it was important at that time when David Millane had come for the investigation, for he had no family here. His brother did come out a couple of days later, but we need to put the wraparound support around him. I usually wouldn't get that involved because I needed to stay objective, but he needed that support, and I needed to talk to him about what my strategy was and the media strategy, and we got on really well. And then, of course, I went across the UK for Grace's funeral, and we had inquiries to do over there. It's when I met Gillian, and I met Grace's brothers and the rest of the extended family. And so then, of course, you wait for a year for the trial to come up, and so we're in contact, and then Gillian and David come over for the High Court trial, and so you sit with them every day. And there was times where Gillian was just sobbing, and you feel her sitting next to you sobbing, and you feel sorry for her, listening to the evidence or the cross-examination. It was really tough, and we just kept that relationship. And then, of course, we had the victim impact statements to give at sentencing, and over time, just because of the appeals, I just stayed in contact, and because we got on really well. Similar age, we just got on really well, David and I and Gillian. And so
I think you bonded over football a bit too, didn't you?
Yeah, football was in there. Yes. And then in fact last year I was over in the UK, and I stayed with Gillian for 4 nights, and which was really good to catch up.
Is that typical? Or because I wondered whether police official advice might be warning you against getting too close. Is yours an unusual approach in that response, or is that something that you feel that others in your position do?
Look, I like to meet the family members. Like if I'm running an investigation, homicide investigation, I like to meet the family members just so they know who I am, where I'm coming from, and all that. And to be fair, in some case, even during Grace's case, I got cards from families who's had a family member murdered in the case I'd run, and they were sending me cards. And so I probably got, in terms of Grace's case, I'd like to say objective. I have to say objective. I can't get down in the weeds, otherwise I'd lose objectivity. But it was just that David was here and he needed support.